It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello, this is episode 135 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. I'm Michael Ball, aka Cocard on YouTube. I'm joined once again by the demigod of science fiction knowledge all the way up in London. It is Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal, or sorry, should I say, by the gods of science fiction.
My God, man,
the old
what
name!
did you? By the gods of science fiction, I curse you.
I'm sorry, Martin. It used to be called a different name.
We need lightning in the background. How fun!
If I remember, I'll put something on the background and post edit. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. I'm good. I had a good weekend, actually.
That's right. We were trying to set up for an outside sort of like Zoom thing on my upstairs, and it all messed up. We spent half an hour trying to get this going, and eventually we realised that for some reason my laptop, it just would not play. It just didn't want to see Martin's face on the screen. I can hear Martin's lovely voice. You can see my face, and you could see everything, and then Martin was just a black screen on a square, and he couldn't. All I could see is hear him.
But it wasn't my fault, was it?
No, it wasn't. But how can my laptop receiving your signal wouldn't show your signal?
Because I think it's because the signal, it was doing the audio because you were outside, which I will say was spectacular view.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do that again in the future because it's fun. But
you're frozen.
Oh, it's all right. That's okay.
I thought you froze for a second.
Oh, God.
That was a fantastic view.
Thank you. Yeah, I will try again in the future, but we go outside. And it was too cold anyway. It was really freezing out there. So we'll wait until the summer, and now the internet's starting to play up now. Oh, God. Come on. We're not having much luck today, are we? Is it working? Martin's frozen. He's like frozen in time. Here he is. Now I can't hear him.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, there's a delay now.
No, you can hear me. You can.
Yeah, it's all right. It's catching up. It's fine. Okay.
Right.
So, do we want to quickly talk about the latest episode of Picard first of all, or do you want to go?
No, let's do Christine. Get it out of the way.
Let's hit the
You're
focus
the
of the
man
week.
on this week.
All
So.
right, here we go.
It's the Solar Sci-Fi Focus of the Week.
Alright, so we're talking about a film which I think was made in 1983. It is a film based on a Stephen King novel, and it was called, of course, Christine, which was quite a memorable film. And I'm just looking at the Wikipedia because my main iPad is upstairs from when I was doing it all before. So I obviously Martin wants me to go take the lead, but let me just quickly ask you, what do you remember about Christine then, Martin?
It was the car. It was knackered. He picked it up cheap. The guy was being picked on. The car's possessed. He falls in love with the car, and he becomes darker. His friend notices it, and then all the people that have wronged him die. And then his friend tries to save him, but the car's possessed him. And the big scene I remember, his friend is somebody's running down an alleyway. Thinks the car can't get him, and the car crushes itself to drive down the alleyway and eats him or kills him, and that's it. And then I found out at the end it ends up in a trash compactor.
That's it. Well, that was a great review. Thank you, Martin. Let's go into.
Okay, I'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll be back with the solo. Okay. Okay, let me read the actual synopsis here. Okay.
Oh, go on then. Go on.
Written by Bill Phillips and based on Stephen King's 1983 novel of the same name, the movie follows the changes in the lives of Arnie Cunningham, his friends, his family, and his teenage enemies after he buys a classic red and white 1958 Plymouth Fury for $250, named Christine, license plate CQB241. There we go. A car that seems to have a mind of its own and a jealous, possessive personality which had a bad influence on Arnie. Released in the USA on December the 9th, 1983, Christine received generally positive reviews from critics and grossed $21 million at the box office. The film has since become a cult classic, a remake from Sony Pictures, and Blumhouse is in development. They're making a remake of it. Now that's interesting. It won't be any good, of course, because they never make any good remakes, but I would watch it. Alright, so my perspective was that this is interesting because Martin and I like a lot of things, but you're slightly more on the superhero side of things, and I'm slightly more on the horror side of things. And I don't remember when I first watched this, but the things that stood out for me first of all was I think it was John Carpenter did this, and of course John Carpenter has a very specific way of doing things. A lot of his films featured great music, and this did. I also like the fact that the actual car always had this creepy sort of 1950s tunes blaring out of it whenever it was driving around. I just thought it was a very solid film. I just thought that the cast was well played. It had some good actors in it. I mean, I still think it's strange that the protagonist, the guy at the school, the bully, he looked like he was about 28 and he was playing an 18-year-old, which I thought was a bit strange. But let's have a look. What was he called? Arnie Cunningham. I'm trying to think of the guy. It was blah 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 blah. I can't find the name of the actual character, but the bully was quite good because he really he had it coming, and of course in the end the bullies do sort of get their comeuppance. I don't know. I like that era of films. That sort of era from John Carpenter again. We had. We had the Halloween films, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to talk about her in a minute because she's done very well at the Oscars. We had another film, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, was The Fog. We had this one, Christine, and there's a few others, and they had a sort of similar sort of perspective of that kind of, I just like the era that they were made, the sound of it, the direction, and I just think, of course, the other one, of course, was. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is another similar feel to it. But, I mean, do you think this film was a film that sort of stands out well now? I mean, of course it looks dated, but do you think that it's a film that potentially is still quite watchable even in 2023, or is it too cheesy, or what? I think it's pretty good myself.
I think it holds its ground today.
Yeah, that's what
it's a unique type of film, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I like about it. I just think that I just there were some really sort of funny scenes in the film.
Remember an episode, I think it was Outer Limits, or it Twilight Zone, about a guy who got a motorbike. And I think it might have been 80s one. I remember it was in colour, it wasn't the old one. This young guy bought a knackered motorbike, and when he got on it, when he was riding it, was like a woman. He looked at this woman.
Oh, I've not seen. I remember that.
It was a motorbike, but like what he saw in his mind, he was like
sort of possessed by it.
It was like a female, and she would ride back, and he would ride it back, and it went round killing everybody.
Yeah,
the bike. So it was sort of similar, but Christine was before that. Christine to me was one of them. I remember the trailer at the cinema. I do remember that, but Christine is from the VHS era.
Yeah,
for me, this was the film you rented out from the video library, and when you hired 3 or 4 films out on a Saturday night, and Christine was one of the big ones to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And it's it had some quite sort of dark scenes in it. I just I think we reviewed it because we watched Maximum Overdrive the other week, and we just thought, look, this is a similar sort of story, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, what else can I say about the film? Actually, it's funny actually. Normally, I talk a lot more about these films, but I actually got a lot to talk about it. Really,
because we haven't watched it.
Well, no, I watched it, but you haven't watched it. I watched it. I'm trying to think of what else. We don't normally
winging our way through it.
Yeah, but we don't normally wing our way through it. It's strange, isn't it?
No, I'd just like to say to the audience, we do prepare for this.
Yes.
We spend many hours researching and
yeah, it's on my phone now. This is my research here on the bloody thing, bloody thing.
No, it's Stephen King. There were a time when back with Maximum Overdrive and The Fog and John Carpenter Fog, wasn't it? There were a load of Stephen King stuff on the telly at the time. There were all them series.
A lot of films, a lot of TV series, yeah.
There were a lot of, and he had a lot of movies at the cinema, a lot of horror sort of stories. And Christine were in that package. But Stephen King had his time, and then we moved on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Clive Barker came along after
Clive Barker, yeah. Clive Barker, I remember Clive Barker.
But Christine is a good film. I mean, it's a solid film. Interesting concepts, especially that side. down the alleyway. Fascinated me because normally you think, well, he's got away, so what's the car gonna do? Then it just starts crushing itself.
Yeah, I think that for me, what makes the film a solid film was the guy Keith Gordon, who played Arnie Cunningham. Because what I like about the film is that he was so nerdy in the first half, and he was really awkward. And as he becomes so engulfed with the Christine entity, he becomes dark. He actually becomes cool. He ends up with the attractive girl at school. Everyone's after as well. And of course, when that happens, the car gets jealous of the girlfriend and starts to try to kill her and things like that. I mean, it's a strange film because it's obviously more fantasy than science fiction, because there's no explanation of why the car is self-aware. It's not through technology.
What about the book? It's based on a book, and there anything in backlog of the book?
I don't know.
Normally with a novel, you get a bit more of an explanation, don't you? I've got an explanation.
What's that?
I reckon it's the son of Herbie. right. No, listen, because I saw a Herbie film once where he met a female Herbie, and they had loads of little Herbies, like Tonka ones. And I reckon Lady Herbie, like the female one, had it with 1944 Plymouth or whatever it is, and out came Herbie. Just could never accept the kid, and it became evil, and it started killing people. But it is.
So Herbie gave her a good shunting, is what you're saying?
Yes, a good carburettor, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
And but what came out when all the little Tonka Herbies came out? Christine popped out, and they got divorced.
So basically, Herbie did the mirror signal maneuver.
Yeah.
And then backed up, and then got on the load. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's just a theory. I mean, I could be wrong. Is it possessed? I assumed it was possessed.
I think it's possessed by some I don't know, some person. I assume. I mean, you got to think about how is it possessed.
Well, that's it never tells you.
The thing is, I love the film, but it's got some dodgy ideas in it. As you say, how can the car be possessed? The car is an inanimate object. If someone had died in the car, but no, it was doing stuff before. It was doing stuff as soon as it was coming off the actual production line. As soon as it was made. So I don't see how it could do that.
Hang on, right. Let's. Through the wonders of modern technology, right? Let's. Christine, right? Christine, the novel, right? Christine book by Stephen King. Christine review. Wikipedia. Oh, he's gone. Oh, you're there.
That's right. Go on.
Hang on. Christine's horror novel released. Right. Hang on. I'm on the book. For his illicit operator, George revealed that LeBay's young daughter choked to death on a hamburger in the back seat of the car, and that LeBay's wife subsequently committed suicide in its front seat by carbon monoxide poisoning. Well, I don't think it's telling you.
No, I don't think it is.
No, I don't.
It's just been one of our best reviews of a movie we've ever done. I think it's our worst review we've ever done of a movie.
I think it is.
3.5 years.
Stay out there. I mean, there's a loads. I think it's back Christine. No, it doesn't say anything. It said about some kid down at hamburger.
So basically, is this film unreviewable?
Well, no, we can review anything. We've reviewed some really bad films that make Halloween 3.
Halloween 3 is a classic, you know it is.
I know it is, but I just thought I'd mention it. Do you know what I mean? But we can review this, and we're going to do it maturely.
Well, we've only got 5 minutes of Zoom time before it conks out. I would like it. Look, I like the film. I like the concept of a psycho car killing people. It's nothing new, but the approach of this was different. Yeah.
normally the car's possessed goes over the cliff and blows up.
Yeah.
You know, something like that happens, doesn't it?
Mm.
You know, but this thing, I mean, it's prepared to tear itself apart to get to its victims.
But then it reforms again, though. When it's damaged, it just reforms. Yeah.
And that was sort of different about it.
Mm.
So, but I would like a focus point of its back origins, really.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
because
look at the novel. I've never read the book.
no, I've not read it either, and I should have. This is one I think we need to read this because there's a lot of issues about this that don't actually make a lot of sense thinking about it.
Well, he falls in love with it, doesn't he? It possesses him, and then
I think it's symbiotic. It's a symbiotic thing.
Yeah, and then he gets a girlfriend. He wants to kill the girlfriend.
Yeah, because he just wants him, and it seems to. I don't know why it seems to absorb his Arnie's sort of spirit or his kind of
well, he's probably
life force.
feeding off him, but there's something possessing him.
Yeah, there's something that's he needs from Arnie, but why does he need it off Arnie? And why does Arnie turn evil with the
Because
car?
he's probably feeding on his emotions.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
How does it end up in a trash compactor?
In the end, there's Arnie's in the car, but we don't even know he's in the car, and his friend and Arnie's then sort of ex-girlfriends, they get a sort of tractor thing and they try to sort of squish it up, and eventually they stop it, and then we see a next scene where we see it at a scrap yard where it's just been squished together, and they've just crushed it. But there's a last scene you see a bit of the bumper which is squished in starts to move slightly, sticking out, suggesting that it could come back.
Right, but then if we get a remake, obviously they're going to add why it's like that.
That's what I'm interested in. As we've talked about,
I'd like to know more.
A remake
about
might be. A remake would have to give a lot more explanation about how this all works and why it's doing what it's doing and what's it does. Because as you say, it's unusual for me to. I still love the film, but it's got a lot of issues that don't make any sense in this movie.
Plot holes.
A lot of plot holes.
Well, do you reckon it could have been a prototype kit before Knight Rider got built?
Could have been. It could be, and then it became Car or something, and it's like obsessed.
Well, it's Car's dad.
Or maybe it's got Car's circuitry or memery banks or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know. I mean, like I said, when you have Car from Knight Rider, it's a technological because it's just. But this isn't. And why does it reform?
I came across this series. I've only seen 2 episodes.
What's that?
And it's set in some kind of like post-apocalyptic world, but there's a car race, and it's run. Well, this guy's a racer, and the race across the desert, but the car's killing people. But they feed the cars on blood.
Oh,
that
sounds quite interesting.
They only made 13 episodes of it, and I don't know. It popped up on somewhere, and I never got to see the end of it. When I went for they were all gone. But they put a lot of money into it, but it got cancelled. But there's that aero guy, this was his navigator. He starts freaking out because the cars, they eat human blood and humans. Like the engine, because when he opens it, he's freaking out. It's like a living engine. It's all weird, but it's something to do with hell or something. And I don't know. It looks interesting. I'll find out what the series is. I'll let you know.
All right. Well, look, we've got 1 minute left before we're going to go into the news. So, out of 10, what would you rate it?
I'm gonna be slightly generous because I did let myself down this week. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
VHS memories. That's what I stand by.
I'm going to give it a 7.5 because I still fully remember it, and it's got a lot of elements which I like, but it's got a lot of stuff which doesn't quite make sense if you get me. So there we are. But I'm glad we checked it out, and like I said, I mean, it's worth watching, but it has got a lot of oddities about it. Right, on that note, let's go into our sci-fi news. We want to talk about Picard and all this sort of stuff. So here we go.
What, in a minute?
I'm going to do the fade out. That's what I do the fade out. Right, we're going in now, and that's going to be left in. Right, we'll be right back.
Okay, right. I'm going to say it. You look like a politician then.
So the Sci-Fi
News.
Alright, so we have seen now episode 4 of Star Trek Picard. We have seen episode 2 of The Mandalorian. I've also seen episode 8 of The Last of Us, but Martin hasn't seen that yet. So let me just quickly say, before we go into our reviews of at least the first 2 of those, the one very strange thing, which I said to you on your YouTube. By the way, Martin's done a review of the first episodes 3 and 4 on his YouTube channel. Check it out because it was very good.
And I uploaded the entire series of 1973, Starlost. It's so bad, it's good, and it's got Dave Bowman from 2001. He's the big star.
Dave Bowman. All right, so by the Gods of Science Fiction, check out his YouTube channel.
And it's like Logan's Run, but set on a spaceship.
So if you release that, you should do then a follow-up review of the actual series, and then you can link it up to the... That's what you should do on your channel.
No, I've done that already.
Oh, right, sorry,
I did a review on it, but I will be doing something else about it tomorrow.
Okay, well, stay tuned. So I was going to say, the one thing which is very strange at the moment is that I'm not remembering The Mandalorian at all. I'm watching episodes of Picard, and I'm like completely, utterly engrossed. And The Mandalorian episode 2, season 3, is fine. It was quite a good episode. But, compared to how high Picard season 3 is in respect to where it's going so far, it is like such a big gap, such a big difference. So episode 4, what did you think about it? How did you think it was going to go? Are you surprised? What do you think about the whole thing?
I think firstly, I thought it was brilliant.
Me too.
And it was like the wrapping up of the first chapter.
Yeah, that's what it was now. Yeah, first. Yeah.
So we're into the new chapter this week of the book. I loved every minute of it, every single minute of it. I watched it twice.
I've watched it 3 times.
I watched the Mando on that together.
Oh, okay.
I watched them both together, and I don't want to say this, but when I just forgot all about Mando.
Me too.
I'm sorry. I know there's I love Mando.
No, I love the Mando, but I don't want. I don't want one at the same time. I wish that Mando would start like a month after Picard or something. It's stupid. Two of the biggest sci-fi franchises, Star Trek and Star Wars, are on exactly within a day of each other. It's stupid.
You know why you're more excited? But this is because this is your 90s self kicking in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but maybe
it's because you're a big fan of Star Trek, and you're getting
that was my favourite era. Rick Berman era of Star Wars. Star Trek.
And I like the thing between Picard and Riker. You realise how close and how intense their relationship is, and I loved it when Riker walked in and said, basically, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. You were right. We should have attacked."
Yeah.
But I lost my son, and I've been playing safe, and I don't feel anything. And I found that really touching. But what beautied it up when that Valdic, because she played with them so badly last week, like mice. And when they worked their way out through that, the nebula creature thing it gave birth.
Contractions.
When he said, "Get the tractor beam on that asteroid," and he smacked it into her, and that's Riker.
Yeah,
He kicked her ass in that, and that was the moment I wanted that. I wanted that, and I thought the whole changeling thing was interesting. Fantastic episode, but it wraps up a beautiful chapter for me. Did that? Roll on episode 5. We're going to see Law this week, I hope. But before, who is the person behind all this? Over to you.
Well, let me first of all say, likewise, it was an exceptional episode, as they all have been. What can I say about this one? There was no Raffi and Worf this week, which is the first time she's not been in an episode, which is fine. We didn't need her. But what I liked about it, for me, one of the best scenes was there's a very clever scene where they're back in 10 forward on the holodeck, and there's also then a flashback to 5 years ago where we're in the real 10 forward, and you've got some young Starfleet officers talking to Picard. He's trying to have his tea or whatever. He's trying to have his lunch. And then later on, there's a very, very clever scene where they slightly de-aged Jack Crusher to make him look 5 years younger. And this is where he wanted to meet his dad. and of course Picard didn't know who he was. And Picard said, well, basically, Jack says, "Have you ever wanted to have children yourself?" He said, "No. Starfleet is my life. That's my family. That's all I've ever wanted." And this explains why Jack has stayed away for all those years until this situation has happened, which I thought was just very cleverly written. And everything about the series, the music's wonderful, the special effects are wonderful, the actors are all wonderful, and the new actors are the great characters. I'm Vadik. I don't know what's going on with that. You've ever heard of like Tone saying "talk to the hand," but she certainly did talk to her hand. Now, what the hell was that all about?
I don't know.
Because apparently she is a changeling. Now, when she did the communication. Yes, talk to the hand.
I forget. Yeah, I did mention. I forgot about that in my review. I was certainly she's a changeling.
Apparently, Terry Matalas said that she is a changeling. Now, changelings do not need to cut off their appendages to talk to them.
No,
they could literally just make it drop off. They could literally just, they can pour a bit, make their part of their body more liquidy. Just like Oda did that once, where he actually put a bit of his body into a sample tube.
Changeling.
Yeah, I think there's something more about her.
I don't think she's different.
I think she's something more than changeling. I think there's something more going on. I think
the entity she spoke to, that
what was that?
It morphed like a changeling, but I think that's just a front for whatever it is.
Unless she's linked, maybe there's two changelings in her form at the same time. We have seen two changelings linked together before, and almost become but they've never. I don't know. That's I find that a bit confusing. And also,
but they can only stay solid for 16 hours.
What do you think about the fact that the changelings, when they change, they look more like raw meat now than the sort of orangey goo that they used to be in DS9?
To be honest, I did prefer the orangey goo in DS9.
I did too. But do you think there's a reason why they've changed it?
Now, isn't it? It's a bit
it's a bit more real. It's a bit more like meat than sort of.
Maybe if they broke off from the founders, maybe before something happened to them. Obviously something's not right. I mean, there was no reason for her to cut her appendage off.
No.
If she's a changeling. So there's something different.
I think there's something
there's
something more going on that we're not aware of. There must be.
Yeah. It's fascinating because I want to know I want to know who's guiding all this. Unless it could be the founders behind all this. These founders.
Now I've heard some rumours. Now apparently. There are two characters who could well be featured coming up soon, and I think there's a good possibility of either of these characters returning now, and you wouldn't be aware of these. One, I think, could be actress Salome Jens, who played the founder, the female changeling in DS9.
I don't think she's alive.
She is still alive.
Oh, she's still alive?
She is still alive, and she has been doing some voice. Yeah. Now imagine seeing her again. The other character who I think we may well be seeing, and again, I know I'm doing about the Harry Kim thing, but this is more of a serious one. I think that we are going to see Ensign Rowe, or maybe Michelle Forbes returning as Rowe at some point. I don't know why.
That'd be interesting.
I just think that there's somewhere that
superb in Battlestar Galactica.
She's a great actress.
She is. I've also so much just come into my head, but carry on.
So I think that it's a possibility of either of those characters at some point doing something in the second half of Picard Season 3. That's just what I think, offhand.
Do you know there's another changeling we've just totally dismissed from all this?
Oh, not the one that Oda met.
I like you, man.
The one, played by J.G. Hertzler.
Straight onto that.
J.G. Hertzler, and he went off. No,
the one that Odo found in space.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's
is that the one looking for the 100?
Yeah. He was the one that basically he'd tried to have a relationship with a solid. He couldn't, and he sort of just discovered Odo, and then then he went on his own way. And in the end, of course, the last scene we realised that I can't remember his name. Was it Lars? I can't remember what it was. He had actually inadvertently been infected by Odo at that point, because at that point we didn't know that Odo was carrying the disease. So it could be really interesting if he came back at some point.
And maybe these changelings, it could be that maybe some of these renegades are some of the 100.
Oh, I love that. That's a cool idea.
Because we never found out, did we? Really? But they were out there somewhere.
From what all we know is that these changelings, at least some of them, have broken off from the Great Link because they disagreed with the end of the Dominion War.
Yeah.
And they wanted to continue it, and that's why they've gone. Because
if they can't control it, they fear it. Yeah. That's their thing, isn't it? They've got. If they control
what you can control can't hurt you. That was their philosophy.
Yeah.
So I just love this. I mean, I never thought, I'll be talking to you about a brand new Star Trek with the Dominion and the Founders coming back. I mean, they were some of the greatest stories ever in Star Trek, and we've got it. And I am absolutely just thrilled every week with this series. It is absolutely fantastic. I mean,
do you know the scene I loved? I know. Do you know why Shaw? I like Captain Shaw.
Oh, I love Captain Shaw. He's great.
I don't. But that's what they set him up as a bit of a dick at the beginning. But I couldn't understand his hatred for them. So, but
you found out, though, didn't you? You found out with Wolf 359.
I was at the edge of, when he was like Picard was reminiscing. They were all scared, and he was trying to build them up. Look, we're gonna get through this. And he walked in, and he sat there. He said, "I was an engineer, and I was on the Cumberland or something, and." I was at Wolf 359 and none of us could get to live pod. And blame it 30 years later.
Yeah.
And still,
chip on his shoulder,
still, there's people out there blame him for that. Even though it wasn't his fault, it wasn't. He fought against it, but he couldn't. What are you going to do against the whole collective like that? And it wasn't his fault, but people aren't going to see it like that. It was his face on that screen.
There was a lovely
scene.
There's a lovely bit of continuity because roughly Best of Both Worlds Part 2 was I'm not very good at maths, but I'm quite good at star dates. Was 4400, right? That was because Admiral Picard made his first captain's log since movies, and he did a star date of 78. And if you work it out from the actual, they always got it right. It would set this episode 34 years after the Best of
Battle
Both
of
Worlds.
Wolf 359.
Yeah, exactly. And I just thought that was a lovely time.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so right.
It was the most powerful scene in that. It was. But what made it more beautiful at the end of it was that you got some TNG for a couple of minutes. When the birth of that new life.
Oh, wasn't it lovely? And it looked like
that was beautiful.
And it looked like the alien
Star
from
Trek, man. That was TNG.
Very like the alien from Encounter at Farpoint. It wasn't, but it was similar. It was another space life form, and we've seen that. So it even had exploration in it, and it even, it's just so solid, isn't it? It's just
superb.
I'm still worried about the future of Star Trek on Paramount Plus because they're saving money, but I've got the feeling that because they're ditching Discovery, they must be realizing that this is something good, and I think that they're going to be doing a new series. I really would be surprised.
I think that it's gonna.
They have
the
to.
figures are looking good. I think they're gonna think. Well, we can get 10 to 12 episodes out with some of these stars, but I think we're gonna get a wolf.
Well,
Jay.
Jay from Sci Trek, he said apparently that the viewing figures for the first few episodes haven't been that good on Paramount Plus, but I don't know. I think that it's a series that might actually get more popular once the series is actually able to binge it. I think that actually I think to the detriment.
This is a binger. It's
the detriment of the series. It's no good having it once a week. It's too long to wait. I want to sit there for 10 hours and do cool and just watch the whole thing. And I'm going to. It's not got it. Well, I will be doing that.
Well, when we started watching streaming networks, they used to release entire TV series. And then it all stopped.
Lost in Space was a good example. I think The Expanse did that as well. Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
And then suddenly, because last series that expired were weekly, and I thought,
well, why have they changed that then?
I don't know, but I think if they'd have put the full 10 episodes of this out, word of mouth and impacts would have expanded it. It's not enough. Some people might be waiting the full 10 weeks. I can't wait. I've got to see this week's episode.
I can't stand it. I'm just waiting. I'm literally waking up thinking, what day of the week is it until Picard comes along?
Yeah,
and I've not done that
go.
since I've been watching Star Trek,
days.
since Rick Berman era. I mean, that is how much I'm into this series. It's just I think it's the best thing I've seen in years.
I remember I used to watch DS9 on Sky on a Thursday,
Yeah.
the new series, and I'd cancel everything.
Well, I used to get the VHS.
Wait.
I was always the one buying the video
Yes,
VHS tapes, and it used to actually it was DVD. Was it VHS DVD?
It's 2 episodes a tape.
2 episodes, and it was like once a month, and it would be like the first Thursday of a month, and it would have one. And you have one DS9, you have one Voyager, or back then it was one Next Generation, one and it was and you get and I'll get there, look at the cover, and I'll rush home, and I'll put it on, and I said, just shut the door. I'd even pull the curtains. I was like, right, and you would see me for an hour and a half. That's it.
And it wasn't enough for it. I remember in Blockbuster they started bringing latest episodes out, but they had 4 episodes per tape.
Okay.
They started renting, so and then they started selling them.
Okay, like the rental ones are different.
Like the X-Rental, there were 4
episodes.
episodes.
Like different,
I bought them.
Yeah. Happy days.
I
feel like I'm back like that again now, except we're watching the digital thing, and that's amazing. And it's like, you think yourself, you're so lucky back then because you used to have like 26 episodes per season, and back then you would get 52. You'd get literally a year's worth of course now we only get 10.
I'd stay in all weekend and watch them.
Oh God, I know, it's so good. I never thought I'd be watching this quality of Star Trek again.
No, I didn't. I thought the nearest thing we were.
Strange New Worlds. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's great. I'm not having a go at Strange New Worlds, but this is something special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So, it's a thumbs up from me. I don't know what else to say about it. Really.
I'm just going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10. Every episode I'll give it a 10. It's just a 10. So sorry. And if this season goes on any further, once I've seen it all, it might even go up to 11 if it carries on.
Well, we're up to Safety Line now, episode 5.
Well, episode 5 is this week, so
that's the Safety Line door.
But I've already seen the trailer of episode 5, and it's going to be interesting because I've seen some interesting clips, which features another starship, the USS Intrepid. And it looks like. Have you seen the trailer yet?
No. Do we say Laura in it?
No, you see. The Intrepid's warp the cell. Looks like the Bazaar collector that has an explosion at the front.
Oh.
Picard puts his head in his hands, and there's a transporter scene where it's like these red tentacles are coming off some crew members.
Right.
You remember in some of the actual Jack Crusher moments where he's like having some sort of weird visions, and you see like a weird door with red.
Oh, what was that about? Yeah.
Well,
we're
getting it again.
And Mirror. When he had them visions, what was that about?
These like red sort of tentacles.
Yeah.
That's coming. You're going to see more of that. I don't know what that's
is
about.
This behind everything? Is there something?
I think there's something more going on.
What was that?
Something more going on.
It right at the end. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, because I was like, when I reviewed it, I did rush it today because I had to go out. But then there was that end scene just for about a minute where he's in Mirror and he's been called to by something. Yeah. And it were all apocalyptic, and it were like, what the bloody hell is that? And the red tentacles. So it's gonna be interesting now. What a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly something really special. And so, I mean, I just wish that we weren't already nearly halfway through it. Which is a shame, but I suppose in the end, nothing lasts forever. But yeah, this is something really good. I was trying to load up something, but I want to show you something actually, but it's going around in circles. Here it is. I'll try and share this with you very quickly.
If you put the trailer up, you might get it. You might get the.
No, I'm not going to do a trailer. I'm going to send you.
Because I put trailer up and they blocked it.
I'm going to send you a screen grab of something I got a screen grab from, if I can find it. Obviously, if you're watching this or listening to this on audio, you won't be able to see this, but it's only for a second. So that is a scene from episode 5. Have you got it?
Oh, that's wonderful.
That is the USS Intrepid, that is.
Oh, that's mad. Do you know what's wonderful about this? I'm just before we finish this segment, do you know what I'm going to say?
What's that?
Finally, we're seeing starships
Aren't they
again.
gorgeous?
Starships are like a piece of art. They're beautiful. They're just amazing. Look at it. We're seeing starships again.
I know, and they look
You know
so
what I
cool.
mean?
And the lighting of it so as well. But that one's got a rear deflector dish though. I don't know what that's all about. Unless it flies backwards.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, but it has the overall design.
Oh, it's proper
of a
Star Trek
starship.
ship. Yeah,
It's
it looks great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And but that shot of two of them ships, like one opposite each, that is the classic Star Trek.
I know.
shot.
I love it when you see more than one starship as well. I've always been a starship guy. So
I think starships are better than Star Wars ships.
I
think starships are the best designs out there.
Yeah. I like a lot of Star Wars. I like Star Wars Imperial ships.
Yeah, but for me, I go.
But
for
Federation
starships all
starships are the
time.
best. Yeah, exactly.
They're beautiful. It is artwork for me. It's sheer art. I love it.
So, talk about Imperial ships then. So let's talk about the Mandalorian episode 2. What do you think of that?
Well, I watched both together, and I did enjoy the first episode a bit more. It was like pretty basic, but it was. I think we're going for the slow burn. I think that we're gonna. It's like a step each week, but we got to episode 2. Absolutely loved it.
Yep.
Very good. I wanted to ask you what was significant of the monster in the water.
I don't know. I think it's something to do
Everybody's
with.
making a big thing about that.
It's some. I don't know what it is. I think it's something to do with Mandalorian culture or something. I didn't know either, but I think that it might be. You know how like the dark saber is. If you have the dark saber, you can rule Mandalore. I think that this creature, if you could tame it, it's some other sort of significance for the culture or something. But that is a bit of a guess.
I don't think it was in Clone Wars, was it, that creature?
I don't recognise it. The name sounds vaguely familiar. That's all I know about it. But I don't know as much about Star Wars as I know about Star Trek.
I saw a few videos. I didn't watch them. I forgot. But a lot of people made videos just about that creature, saying it's something from the past. And I thought, well, I watched all the Clone Wars, and I didn't see that.
Have you seen Rebels?
Yeah, I don't think that would.
I haven't seen Rebels either. No, I don't know. You know, I mean, like I said, I like Star Wars, but I'm not an expert like I am on Star Trek. I know a lot more about Star Trek than Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it did seem familiar. But
I thought that.
But I don't know where from. I can't recall, I'm afraid.
No, well, that's right, because somebody, a friend of mine asked me significant, and I said I actually don't know, but a lot of people, it's been around before, apparently, so I don't know. I wondered if you knew.
No, I'm really sorry, I don't, I'm afraid, but I'm sure we'll find out. But at least it was a longer episode. I think episode 3 is going to be longer as well, because
it was nice to watch a 45-minute episode.
Yeah, just 45, not nice. 35 is too short. 45 is fine. And again, going back to Picard, a lot of those are 55-minute episodes. They're pretty long, you know, which is really.
Do you think him and Bo-Katan are going to fight it out?
I like the way that Bo-Katan came back to rescue him, and I also thought it was cool seeing R5B4, is it? Who was in?
The robe,
Yeah, who was in A New Hope. It's just nice continuity with that. And Pele, I like the engineer. She's cool. I don't know.
She is.
I think she's a great character. I really like her, and the actress who plays her is really, really funny. Apparently, she has to have her eyebrows shaved off every time that she goes back to the role. Apparently, as she do. I don't know why. Just let her have eyebrows. But there we go.
Yeah.
I suppose there could be some. They'll either have. I mean, can Mandalorians have a romantic side of things, or are they just warriors? I don't know. How do they reproduce?
Well, I assume that. I mean, the breed, don't they? So I assume there's romance.
Or do they?
I wondered that. I was just about to say that. Is there going to be some going on between them?
There seems to be something about them.
But I like that scene where she said she was going to get rid of him and not bother with him anymore. As soon as Grogu turned up, it was like, because he's so bloody cute, she couldn't resist it. She went off to rescue him, didn't she? You know, because she said, I'm going to tell him to go away.
Yeah.
You know,
I knew she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that.
Well, like, he's so bloody cute, isn't he, Grogu?
Yeah.
I did like.
Go on.
I like the tribute to the time machine.
I was going to say about the bloody Morlocks.
Yeah,
I knew.
I was going to send you.
God.
I was going to send you a message about.
As soon as
that.
I saw that, I thought you.
Yeah.
And I thought. Sorry, I was going to say about that. There's the
I
bloody
was going to
Morlocks.
I was going to drop you a message.
Oh no, you've got that as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I knew what you were talking about. It was the Morlocks, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really inspired by the Morlocks, definitely.
Yeah.
Even the sort of radioactive or potentially radioactive.
Even that city, it would all like
underground,
where
it's
they
dark,
lived.
and they were definitely based off the Morlocks.
What was that thing that
Thing with the eye.
yeah, what the hell?
I thought that was really. I don't know what that was, but I thought it was cool. Whatever it was. It was
Oh
having
yeah,
machinery
I
and
was
stuff.
like, what the bloody hell is that?
Yeah, that's cool.
What were he doing to? What he like after his blood or something? Because they put him in that spit thing. And
I
then
think it was. I think maybe it was trying to ingest something of him because it was a
Yeah.
creature. It must have consumed. Maybe it consumed blood or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
when she took it out, I mean, it was a fantastic battle. When she took it out, and then its head detached itself, like the eyeball,
Yeah.
and it went into that like spider bot thing.
That's it. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that looked really cool. Yeah, it looked really cool actually. That was that. Yeah, so it's a lot of scene. Like I said, it's just that this series is being diluted at the moment. I wish this series had been shown in like a 3 months time.
Yeah, I do.
I don't
Yeah.
put them on at the same time. I mean, we
I
had
would have
months and
waited
months of
for
nothing.
Christmas for this. I would have liked to have seen this like before Christmas. You know,
They shouldn't have put it on the same time. I'm sorry. That is the one thing which is spoiling it because once these series are both done, I think they actually finish on the same week. They finish in 5
they
weeks'
do, mate,
time.
actually. I think
And
they
then we're going to have nothing for about 4 months again until whatever comes up next. We're going to have nothing.
We've got Ahsoka. I think
Yeah,
we've got
but
Ahsoka.
yeah, but I
coming
don't know.
up, man.
I think that's the autumn now, isn't it? That's ages away.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, we've got Discovery next year, but I'm not
You're
about
not
Discovery.
bothered about that.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Strange New Worlds. We're looking forward to that.
July?
Is that July?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Let's have them separate. Let's have one series.
Yeah, I'd like that. You see, I'd prefer to have this stuff. Like, Picard's great for now, because it's winter. And then over summer, I'd rather have Strange New Worlds kicking in about September.
I agree.
And then finish like by November, and then bringing Ahsoka to get us through Christmas.
I agree.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And they're
I do.
also quite close to each other as well.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it's Mando tomorrow, and then next day it's Picard.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I watch both together. I shouldn't do really, but it's.
Oh no, I can't wait. I've got to watch both at the same time.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's too much because, well, like I said, I keep saying it, but Picard is just sticking in my head a lot more than Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think that's because of
the quality of what they're doing.
And I also think it's old fan affection from the 90s. It's brought something back. It's amazing to see how powerful it is putting the TNG. It's like watching some old friends because they were there for when things were going on in your life. Star Trek was very important to me in the 90s.
It was to me as well.
Incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Rick Berman era in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it was like the background story in my life running.
But isn't it great how a lot of it's come? I know it's not fully there yet, but I mean, it's come back the last year now. You've had Strange New Worlds and Picard Season 3.
Yeah.
We're back in many ways to how we used to be.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And I never thought we'd be saying that. And that's the amazing thing.
It's such a shame that like you said, I didn't know that when you said about the audience figures for like Picard have not been taken on. That's because of the first two seasons that.
It damaged it. It damaged it.
And that's a shame.
I think that all our reviewers, all the people who are saying that, even like Nerdrotic, and lots of people are saying, "Well, this is really good." It will filter down. It will. It has to.
Yeah. I hope so. But like with the Mando, there's never been a bad episode.
No.
You know.
No.
Even if you think you get one duff episode, that the only the one thing that annoys me with Mando, and I love Mando, is I can't do with 35-minute episodes.
Yeah,
we've
been saying that ever since.
An hour. Yeah, that's my only issue with it. But what I saw this week blew me away. It was fantastic.
absolutely. That's good.
It's a slow burner. They said, because somebody said to me the other day, Mando's a slow burner. We're going to get a blowout. We're going to get that episode that's going to just set you up for the rest of the series. I'd say.
I've got the feeling it might be next
2
week.
weeks.
I think next week we're going to have, you know, the guy that was doing the cloning, the guy with the glasses. I can't remember his character's name.
Oh yeah.
I think he might be back on next week's episode.
Oh.
And
he might be on Mandalore.
Well, all I know is I think that the cloning. I think it's just slowly going to go towards the sequel trilogy of the first. What's it called? What's it called? What's the Empire in the sequel's called? Can't what they're called. The First Order, is it? The First Order.
Oh, the first. Yeah.
I think that's going to go
been
towards that.
established now in the background, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we're going to go slowly towards elements of that, which I don't mind seeing. You know. So I think that's pretty much it. Is there any? Should we go into any news? Have you got any news, or should we not bother this week?
No, I did. Just a quick question.
Go on.
Well, if Mando gets it off with Bo-Katan, right? Well, I'm just coming out. I'm not going to bring.
This is the way. This is the way. Go on.
Yeah, this is the way. Right.
Hello.
I'm not going to bring up the toilet on the Starfighter, but right.
Oh
What I'm saying is,
not the Naboo fighter.
I'm not going to go there. I assume he's got a cavitar bag right in his armor. But what I'm saying, like, I know Grogu's probably shitting all over the place, but he probably wears a nappy. But what I'm saying is, right, if he's going to get off with Bo-Katan, which I think she's either going to try and kill him later on for that saber, or there could be some romance. I mean, he's going to have to take that bloody helmet off, isn't he? But I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. I'm not. I know I shouldn't come out with these things, but I do like sit there, because somebody said it to me as well. They said, well, you know, if he gets it off with Bo-Katan, is he going to take the helmet?
So you're saying that Bo-Katan is actually going to really see his helmet?
Well, yeah, but which part? I'm just saying. I'm not going to bring up the toilet business in the stuff, but does he take his helmet off?
No, it's against the creed, isn't it? He can't have. I mean, I don't think they're allowed to have romance in the Mandalorian ethic.
So how do they have baby Mandalorian?
Because they rescue them from other things. That's that's what they've done before.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan sort of got it off with the Mando Queen, didn't he? And what it Clone Wars when he went to Mando. Yeah. Well, she fancied him, didn't she? I don't know if he did, but you know, well, they must have their own Mando kits. Yeah, this children just can't. I mean, it's getting a bit this thing with.
Well, is it? I thought it was more Mando masturbation kind of thing. So.
Mando masturbation. This is the way.
This is the way. You can imagine porno mags with them with their helmets on. This is the way.
Yeah. Well, fair enough then.
Oh,
right. Well,
it's good. It's.
I don't know.
No. I always think it's fun to have a bit humorous. I don't think it'll be explained. I don't know. We've only seen 2 episodes.
Well, it's a good question.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
And you know, and that's it. I mean, we might even get a guest appearance for Cyril and his mother in this.
Oh, please! Oh, don't get Cyril and his mother involved. Don't. Oh my God, he'd be older by then, wouldn't he? I mean, the mother would be dead by then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes I forget about the time.
Yeah, it's about 20 years before, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, Cyril, oh God, Andor. All right, Marty, I'm going to sign off now. I think that's that point. What should we review next week? We can either do Day of the Triffids, or we could do Capricorn.
No, let's do Day of the Triffids.
Day of the Triffids, and then a week after Capricorn.
The Howard Kale one, yeah.
Howard Kale, I'm up for that, matey. Martin, thank you very much. Sorry, it's been a bit of a funny show this week, but we got through it. We managed to review Christine. We had a lot of Picard talk. We did. And it's always nice to have a chat with you and catch up properly.
Because this is the way.
This is the way. All right, Martin, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast.
Live long and prosper.